Tice.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I too pay tribute to the brilliance of our security forces. The Minister has paid tribute to the quality of advice from Jonathan Hall, KC, the independent reviewer of terrorism, and said that he will indeed listen to that advice. Well, that same Jonathan Hall, KC, last autumn advised that in serious incidences involving terror and these sorts of incidents, it would be better to put out more information sooner in order to prevent misinformation. And in order to prevent misinformation, surely the Minister should tell us and the British people who want to know how long have these Iranian nationals been in this country and what is their immigration status?
Well, let me say to the honourable member that that's precisely why I made the point to the Shadow Minister about the importance of transparency. It's precisely why the government have proactively brought forward a statement to the House today in order to give members the opportunity to ask questions. And it's precisely why, earlier on, I gave a commitment that the Home Secretary will come and update the House when we are operationally able to do so. I know that the honourable member understands the importance of not cutting across a live police terrorism operation. I hope he will acknowledge that we take these matters incredibly seriously, that we brought forward a range of measures in March that goes a long way towards addressing the nature of the threat that we face. I hope he acknowledges the serious nature with which we always take these matters. But I say to him, I'm very happy to discuss these matters with him outside of this chamber, should he wish to do so.
Jacob Collier.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. And can I also pay tribute to our security and intelligence services in foiling what appears to be a highly coordinated plot? And the involvement of Iranian nationals points to a potential state-backed threat. So can the Minister assure me and my constituents that our intelligence and legal frameworks are keeping pace with the growing sophistication of hostile activity on British soil?
Well, I'm grateful to him. I can give him the assurance that our intelligence and legal frameworks have the necessary resource in order to ensure that we are best prepared to face the nature of the threat that undoubtedly we do face. But I can also say to him, the Home Secretary, Prime Minister and ministers across government will not hesitate to act should there be a requirement to bring forward further measures. That is precisely why the Home Secretary asked Mr Hall to look at the legislative framework. That is precisely why we are carefully considering his recommendations. But absolutely, I give him an assurance that should there be a need to bring forward further powers, then we will not hesitate to do so.
David Reid.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. It's clear that the issues that we're seeing from Iran and its proxies are shared across many European countries as well. And the Minister raised the recent government sanctions on the Foxtrot network. However, the EU has just rejected the PM's bid to access the bloc's crime and migration database. Does the Minister see this as an issue and something that will stop us thwarting future threats against Iran and its proxies?
Let me respond to him in this way. As I've said previously, whilst there are certain measures that we could put in place in this country, and of course we will, it is imperative that we cooperate closely with our allies. And the nature of the relationship that we have with our allies in Europe is fundamentally important in this regard. I can give him an assurance that Foreign Office ministers, Foreign Secretary, the Minister, will be looking very closely at what's happened over previous days, talking to our allies and taking every opportunity to ensure that we organise collectively to ensure that those states who think that they can behave in an aggressive way towards this and other countries understand that there will be very severe consequences for their actions.
Dr Andrew Morrison.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. Does the Minister agree with me that part of the problem of the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action that the US withdrew from in 2018 was that it wasn't comprehensive enough, in that it completely ignored the actions of Iran through proxy groups and terror cells? When he and his colleagues are discussing with the US administration the way forward, particularly in relation to the Witkoff talks, will he ensure that terrorism is covered as part of any agreement hatched.
Thank you. So I think that's an important point the Right Honourable Gentleman has made. It is one that the Minister and I will consider further, but I can give him an assurance about our understanding and the priority that we attach to the international dynamic to all of this. He will understand, as a former minister, and he's been around a long time, that international relations requires us to work as collaboratively as we possibly can with our partners. We are investing heavily in ensuring that the special relationship that we have continues to deliver for our country and for other Five Eyes partners as well. The points that he has made are well made. We have heard them, we will consider them further, but I assure him we take these matters very seriously and we will work across government to address the issues that he raises.
Gregory Campbell.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and I join with the Minister in paying tribute to our security services in their endeavours to keep us all safe. Would the Minister agree with me that the issue of how these suspects get into the United Kingdom in the first place is a crucial issue, and one that has he addressed with the Irish Republic's government regarding people who don't come in here directly but come in under the radar via Dublin and then into Northern Ireland and into mainland GB?
Yeah. Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. The Prime Minister has said that border security is national security. So the Honourable Member, I think, makes important points. That is precisely why I confirmed earlier on that as a consequence of recent events, the Home Secretary is looking very carefully, along with other Home Office ministers, at a number of areas. And at the earliest available opportunity, she will come back to this House and provide an update.
Whittingdale.
5 weeks ago, I visited Iran International at their location in London. They told me that their journalists face daily threats from Iran, as do those who work for the BBC Persian service. Given it's just 3 days after World Press Freedom Day, will the Minister reiterate this government's absolute determination to defend media freedom at home as well as abroad, and will he consider accepting the invitation to visit Iran International to reinforce that message?
Well, I'm very grateful to the Right Honourable Gentleman, who has been a very long-standing champion of both journalism and journalists, and I think he makes some very important points. I know that the Minister on the front bench from the Foreign Office has recently met with BBC Persia journalist colleagues, and between us we'll look very carefully at the invite that the Right Honourable Gentleman has extended. But let me be crystal clear that the threats that we have seen in recent time to Iran International are completely unacceptable. And this government, like the previous government, will do everything to ensure that free speech in this country is not materially affected by those out with the country who would wish to silence others. So we take these matters incredibly seriously. In response to a question earlier on, I said that the government will have more to say about transnational repression in due course, and that very much includes matters such as the ones that the Right Honourable Gentleman has raised.
Dame Harriet Baldwin.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and I'm going to try again because I appreciate that the Security Minister has to be very careful about the specific aspects of this case, but I do think the House needs to know and the country needs to know whether the Iranian nationals in this case came into the UK illegally or under a legal migration route.
She's a very experienced member of this House, so I hope she can understand why, as the Security Minister, it would be wrong of me to cut across a live police terrorism investigation. Ministers should not be getting in front of or in the way of ongoing proceedings. And I hope that she will acknowledge the point I made earlier on about the complexity of the ongoing investigations. There are still properties around the country that are being searched by police officers. That is precisely why I've come here today to give a statement and update the House with the information that it is appropriate to update. But I've also given a very clear commitment that at the earliest available opportunity, the Home Secretary will come back to this place and give more details at a moment